the whole thing started in our Studio 13, which is this really small place on a kind of industrial complex near where I live, and it's just a brilliant place to work because of this small businesses and you know, studios. There's no sort of big artists there or anything, so it's a nice vibe there. And we just in end of the summer we just went in there with William, just really recorded everything, and I sort of played the songs really for the first time to everyone, my demos, and they just reacted off that. And then we had DAT players recording all the time and getting things into Williams Pro Tools, and just there was no order to it. It was completely chaotic, and it's whatever. Any day there was no right, we're going to finish this off. It was like, oh, this is something new, let's just do that. And he just took back, you know, hours and hours and hours of sort of half-finished songs, jams, ideas, and we just started to put the thing together in another studio. So it was completely different. I mean, usually we've always, at least to a greater extent, just worked out a song and then gone in there and played it pretty much how we'd worked it out, you know. Sounded a lot more like how we've always sounded when we've been rehearsing and doing demos. A couple of things. He did some remixes for us off his own back. He just sort of said, because he knew Andy Ross from Food Records, and he really took the initiative himself. And when we heard them, they were very different. They'd picked up on something which we hadn't, which we felt was a kind of important part of what we do, but no one really who's done remixes in the past had sort of even grasp that idea, you know. And that's the sense that all the rhythms we have, if you just take a little bit of them and you loop them up, they turn into very sort of lopsided, weird tangents, you know. And he just took a lot of the songs and took those elements and really accentuated them, and just thought, well, this is the man to give us the space which we, you know, have so need, and, you know, really been trying to find. The songs I'd written just really felt like nothing else I'd ever written before, and you know, it just made perfect sense to me, because I felt there was a big change that was happening, to go with someone, you know, who in some ways could completely screw up what we'd done or turn it into something very different. You know, it could have gone either way, really. There was no guarantee of you know, the finished article. You know, the more I sing something, the worse it gets. Not when I'm playing live, but in the recording process, because, you know, you live or die by the spontaneity of the sound, and it keeps it very spontaneous. I mean, this is not meant to in any way sort of say that we're emulating the Beatles, but, you know, if they'd have stayed where they had with even an album like Rubber Soul, which was unbelievable, it would, you know, they wouldn't have been the Beatles. So I think any band, you know, has to replicate, but only the kind of essence. Everything else, you know, and hopefully the essence will come out more and more. You know, and that's certainly what seems to be happening with us. So I think it definitely travels into quite dark recesses, but it's still in kind of one piece at the end, and optimistic. It's weathered, but, you know, it's the most cathartic thing I've ever done. It's a whole voyage of new things. You know, life changes. My life's changed, and you know, I'm most definitely broadening my horizons. So this is just you know, this was kind of the catalyst for all of that happening, in a way. The only reason anyone would be mad enough to stay in a band this long and subject themselves to sort of the routines and the timetables and the schedules and everything, as if at the end of everything you've got something which, you know, you really feel you can carry for the rest of your life as, you know, it's the only reason. I mean, none of us would put up with each other if we weren't satisfying each other's desire to make good work. The songs I like the most are probably the most subconscious ones, the ones which evolved through very sort of cross purposes and sort of, you know, they were never meant to be the way they are, in a way. Like a song like Battle and Caramel, you know. It really surprised me when I heard them finished. Well, they have to be, you know. If they're going to sort of stick with us, they have to be pretty, you know, as you say, open-minded. People generally are, I think, you know. I think it's such a fallacy that people listen to one kind of music. It's really strange the way that, you know, the way music is got across to people is so sort of segregated still. Well, I'm listening to a lot of Latin music at the moment, and a bit of jazz, and got a great double CD called The Lyricist Lounge, which is really nice, spoken hip hop. Yeah, and classical music because of the film. Getting into Charles Ives. This is Damon Albarn from the band Blur, and thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.